federal judge ruled late last Friday that Obamacare, or the ACA, is unconstitutional and fatally flawed, meaning that it should now be null and void. Now, this ruling supports the state Republicans who filed a lawsuit stating that Obamacare was a package deal. Individuals buy health insurance, and if they don't buy health insurance, they're subject to an individual penalty or a tax. Last year, Congress eliminated that individual mandate. They reduced it to zero as part of the tax cut bill. So these states argued that by cutting off one of the legs of the ACA of Obamacare, the other leg can't stand on its own, and this law should be struck completely. Judge Reed O'Connor out of the Northern District of Texas agreed with them last Friday. And he said, yes, this law is unconstitutional and should be considered null and void. Judge Reed O'Connor has now set the stage for an appeal that could go all the way up to the Supreme Court, and it will certainly reverberate through Capitol Hill. The ACA Obamacare, it's already been able to overcome 2 different Supreme Court challenges. It's also been able to overcome 2 full years of Republicans controlling Congress and the White House. So most likely, this ruling from Judge O'Connor is going to be meaningless. Just to set the stage, Judge O'Connor is at the lowest level of the court system. He is a trial court judge. So what will happen next is it will be appealed to the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, and from there will then be appealed to the Supreme Court. Now, many legal scholars, even Obamacare critics, have already said, they've already opined that Judge O'Connor overstepped here, that it's above his pay grade to make decisions like this that just completely eradicate an entire federal law without any review. It's also known that the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals has absolutely no patience for frivolous lawsuits or judges who issue rulings that overstep what their boundaries are. The GOP has remained extremely silent because Judge O'Connor has put them between a rock and a hard place. If you strike down the entire law, you're not only getting rid of those parts that don't work of Obamacare, but you're getting rid of those parts that do work and that people do like. Now remember, this last election cycle, a lot of the GOP candidates ran a campaign that said, while we agree Obamacare does not work, there are parts of it that do work and that we promise to keep, like pre-existing conditions. So by eliminating the law entirely, Judge O'Connor has set the GOP up for possible failure in 2020. He's also now set them up where the GOP now has to come up with a viable option to fix this, which over the last 2 years they weren't able to do. We also have to remember that Judge O'Connor, the ruling that he issued was not an injunction. It was actually a declaratory judgment. A declaratory judgment, it's just that. It just declares, I as the judge think that this law is unconstitutional. It should be null and void, but until another court says so, the law can continue. So again, really his ruling at this point is meaningless because Obamacare is still in place. Now we've got a big crop of new candidates coming to the Hill, coming in January. Democrats are taking over the House, and they have some big ideas for how they want to reform healthcare and reform Obamacare. And you can be certain this is something that they're going to be talking about and they're going to take up. The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals is not going to be happy with Judge O'Connor. They're definitely going to overturn this, either send it back down or say, this is above his pay grade. He cannot issue rulings like this. Now, Ameriflex, again, finger on the pulse. We've got a trip to the Hill to meet with all of these new members coming in just here the next month. So stay tuned when we have some more information on this ruling.